Let's go on to Jags winning the Super Bowl because obviously,
It's going to happen.
Now let's get to game one first. Jags are playing obviously the Chargers in Duval. They've played once this year. It was in Cali though, correct?
Yes.
So the first game was in Cali where the Jags won 38-10. Mind you, I believe Keenan Allen was out during that game. Austin Eckler had 4 carries for like 4 yards. Sony Michel was the guy. A lot of things. James Robinson rushed for 100 yards, which we have a stat that showed the Chargers are, what are they, 1 and what?
Ooh, let me pull that up. That was ugly. Okay, so if you run for 150 yards rushing against the Chargers, you have a 4-6. They're basically 4-6 if you can get 150 yards on them. Run on the Chargers, they don't beat you. Now, on the flip side of that, if they can run the ball for 150 yards per game, they are 6-1. 6-1 if they can run the ball for just 150 yards. Ooh.
Okay, so we ran the ball very well that first game against them is kind of what I was getting at. Last game against the Titans, we in fact did not run the ball well. We didn't pass the ball well. They played defense extremely well, and Derrick Henry does what Derrick Henry always does, and slammed us. So we talked about it. We broke it down as what's going to be the key factors here. We've got three key performances on the Chargers who we think are going to be key points. 3 key factors who we think are going to be key points for the Jaguars, and we got to break it all down. So the 3 factors for the Chargers, in our opinion, is you got defense where you can split it between Derwin James or Nick Bosa. Can they get to Trevor to rattle him early? I believe Eckler's got to have a good game. He's got to be able to establish the run. Again, Derrick Henry Titans were able to do that and move the ball. He's a good pass catcher. He's not the same built as Derrick Henry, but he's still a beast. The guy's an absolute tank. And then in my opinion, it's got to be, either Herbert or Keenan Allen, but it's got to be Herbert, either between one or two. Who do you think?
Yeah, you stand Bear. I'm going to go with him. He's got to be the guy. Look, if he has a good game and he's able to move the ball through the air, and
they're 6-1 when they're throwing the ball like piss missiles. So
yes. So, gosh, and Eckler's a tank, guys. I don't know if we give enough respect to.
He's a strong dude for his size. Pound for pound, he is an absolute beast.
They're way out here on the West Coast. We don't pay a lot of attention to it. Because we're out here, and by sometimes 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we're done with football on a Sunday. But that guy has been running strong. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Derwin on defense because he plays every position. He plays safety, he plays corner, he plays slot, he plays the rush in sometimes. So I'm gonna say Derwin. If Eckler can get into that rut where he can get 4 yards a carry, that makes it tough because Herbert isn't a bad quarterback. He's not a guy who's been in the playoffs, so he doesn't have a lot of playoff experience.
Both quarterbacks have not been in the playoffs. I think where Trevor has the edge here is obviously his success in college. He's played in big games. He's been there before, and they're coming off a week. Both teams are coming off. Their Chargers are coming off a loss. I was hoping they would win so we could get Baltimore. I felt more comfortable against Baltimore for week 1. But coming off a loss, coming off of a non-really carrying game, it didn't really matter if they win or lose that game, where Jags were already in playoff mentality last weekend. Duval was already in playoff mentality last weekend and fired up. And if you don't think it's going to be absolutely insane, it's going to be 30 degrees here in Jacksonville, which is going to just get the Duval boys just puckered up more than usual. You got another thing coming, big guy. Okay? Herbert, your Cali flow is about to take some slaps from the big dogs. All right, I think the big difference maker for the Jags is going to be Travon Walker coming off the edge. If he can pressure Justin Herbert, make him a little bit rattled. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, he's got to be able to be. I don't feel like he was uncomfortable last game, but he didn't make any big plays. He was non-existent in my opinion. The defense is what carried that team. And then Ingram. Ingram needs to have a big game as well, because if Ingram has a big game, obviously that translates to Trevor having a big game. And I think they got to get the run established. They did not do a great job of establishing the run in the pass game, which obviously doesn't help Trevor or anybody else open up with Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and Ingram. That's been an incredible wide receiver core this year. So that running game has to open things up. Agnew, obviously, he's an explosive player. They try to utilize him in a few big plays. It didn't, obviously, that's what the fumble happened, so that's going to be important for them to have. But I was talking about this precast. We were talking about what the fumble meant. And I was watching him before when the Titans had the ball, Jags were down. I was like, we need a big play. The defense needs to make something happen here, because I didn't feel confident in what the offense been able to do. And then obviously we see the fumble. Josh Allen picks it up and scores. And it reminded me, it looked exactly like the play when Myles Jack wasn't down. And it felt like it was Josh Allen picked up the ball and finished the play. He finished a play for Myles Jack that was unable to be finished because they called him down against the Patriots in 2017. And I feel like that curse has been overlooked. It's been broken now because Josh Allen picked it up and took it home. So that got me fired up when I saw that. Things feel really good here at Duval. I'm excited for what's gonna happen there. Really fired up for Saturday, and we're gonna be there as well. But continue.
Yep. Look, no matter what, it's been a long time since the Jaguars were in a playoff game, and as much as we
Chargers too
hell about for them too. But as much as we catch hell here in Jacksonville, even here in Jacksonville, about how we don't have the fan support, guys. I don't know if you watched that game last week.
It was loud, dude.
I could hear it from my house. Dude, it was so unbelievable. The crowd, the noise, even the broadcast, you could just hear it and see it. And look, I have been to some Jaguar games here that have deafened your ears like a college game. Trust me, this town knows how to go wild for a football game. It comes here every year for Florida, Georgia. If you don't think that these people who live in this town don't care just as much for the Jaguars as they may be on a split of Florida fans, Georgia fans, FSU fans, trust me, they come here and they find they are family in a different regard. This place will get rowdy.
So it's funny you say that, because I was listening to the radio, and the guy on the radio was like, I've only been here for the last 5 years. And obviously he's like, Jaguar gear hasn't been worn that much, and I thought the fan base was kind of whack. But he's like, well, the last week, he's like, I have been seeing an incredible amount of Jaguar gear, but not just Jaguar gear, old Jaguar gear, throwback Jaguar gear, telling me they've been a Jaguar fan for a long time. They just haven't had much to cheer for, and so they've been tucked away. But Jaguar fans, they're grindy. Where you fight through it, and sometimes you're not happy to wear the logo or the brand, but when it's time to shine, 9-8, however you get there, scratch and claw, and it feels like things are on the up and up. You got Doug Peterson. A past Super Bowl champion. You go from what, 2, 3, 4 wins last year, and Urban Meyer was it 2 or 3 wins?
4 wins.
4 wins to now this with Doug Peterson, and obviously we got Trevon Walker in the draft last year, but a massive flip, massive turnaround to go win almost every game on the last few games here to get into the playoffs. Things just feel really good, and this is why I love football, love the playoffs, because you just got to get there, and anything can happen. Now, the next round's going to be tough, but let's get through this round first. I'm beyond stoked to have it in Duval. I wish we could have more in Duval, because it's going to get rowdy, rowdier than people can imagine. It's not the greatest NFL stadiums around, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw people in the swimming pool, even though it's going to be 30 degrees out.